Hi, and welcome to the Distinguished Twins podcast. I'm Kane.
I'm Professor Anderson.
And today we are going to talk about, first topic is obviously the very prevalent and world-known topic right now is the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other victims that were on the helicopter with them almost 2 weeks ago now. Since then, there's been a lot of different, issues that have came about since his death. Me personally, there's an issue that it's painful. It's painful to see, no matter what, as a African American male, all the great that he did in this country, outside of this country, around the world. This man was accused of something that he did not get convicted of. And all it was someone's word. And I remember following the trial, not very closely, but loosely. I remember some specific things from that incident. And it was, from the jump, I felt that it was erroneous. I can't, acquit anyone myself. However, we've seen this a million times when it comes to athletes, particularly African American male athletes and European American women. All they have to say is, that he did something, and immediately it'll start a media fire, and you're convicted right then and there, no matter what evidence is brought forth from that point. You can even go back to not even an athlete, Emmett Till. I remember even the East St. Louis riots started behind some mention of a European American female and African American male. Something happened. I forget specifically what happened, but their word can literally kill you. Kobe, even with Lisa Leslie, his very good friend, a woman, he was in the public spotlight for, half of his life, and you never heard anything else like that. And with the evidence that was, brought forth, the case was dropped. And also, going through Facebook, I had the privilege of seeing a woman who was involved in the case, actually a European American woman who was involved in the case, and she stated that she was privy to all of the documents, and she even stated herself that he absolutely did not sexually assault this woman. I think the only thing he was guilty of was not being a good husband. And he's held at a higher standard than even the highest office in this land at this point. With all the accusations that have come against this person in the highest office, you still get the respect of your peers, even with these accusations, even accusations of underage children as well. So it's very personal to me, just because I see it so much, and I've had to consciously be told by other older people who were in my situation how to be cautious about these things, and I thought it was ridiculous at the time, but it's a shame that he did so much great work here on this earth, and his legacy is, people are trying to tarnish it, and I take offense to that. I wasn't a big Kobe Bryant fan when he played basketball because I rooted for other teams. There was at one point that I was a Lakers fan. I don't know what was going on in my life at that point, but I was definitely rooting for him. So I did respect his game. I respected his work ethic as a person. Now seeing all the stories and the just interviews and his commentary, and he was truly a family man, not a perfect man, but he was a family man, and I think he was a great man. And I will not sit by and let people just tarnish this man when he had his day in court.
Yeah.
He had his day to tell his side of the story, and people still do not want to give this man any respect, even in his tragic death, also with his daughter. People are very apathetic, very disrespectful. They do not respect, in my opinion, they don't have that value for black and brown lives. It's very obvious, even when people die unjustly, and it's proven it's unjust. The media goes directly to digging up this person's path to try to paint them as a villain and show that they deserved to die unjustly. And these are facts. This is not emotional. This is not an opinion. It's ridiculous. And once again, I'll never sit by quietly and not share my thoughts or feelings on things like this. It's painful. It hurts. Like I said, no matter how much good you do, you still have to prove yourself to be perfect or walk on water, dang near, and that still won't work.
Yeah, it's more of a guilty until proven innocent type of narrative. Certainly. Okay,
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, and just to come in off of what you were saying, I mean, I agree. It's certainly unfortunate, as stated, with all the details in the case. From his perspective, he stated that he believed that it was consensual. She said no, and for what I can understand is he was acquitted because she refused to testify. I know in many cases, individuals who are impacted, or because it's hard to call the individual a victim.
Yes.
Because again, he was acquitted. So if he's acquitted, then there was no crime, I guess, proven to have happened. Yes. So in some situations, some individuals won't come forward and testify. But as stated by Kane, there were a lot of details that came about in this situation. Semen samples, there were multiple semen samples.
Three
total semen samples for the young lady. So again, it's a lot. It's a lot that went on within the case. I remember, as stated, I followed the case whenever it was happening as well. Once a lot of that information came out, it was pretty much enough to convince a jury and I guess a judge to acquit Kobe of whatever wrongdoings that he was accused of. So, and the toughest part, just as Lisa Leslie stated in her interview with Gayle King, is why didn't people ask him these questions 10 years ago?
Exactly.
It happened over, I guess, 20 years ago. And so was
17 years ago. I think it was 2003 maybe.
Okay, yeah, roughly, right. Roughly. And so you got, this man, he just passed away, so this isn't the time. His wife, his children haven't even buried him yet. And so it's tough for that to come about. But again, historically, as an African-American male, to be vilified, that's everyday life. Yeah. Even posthumously, is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, you just saw the same thing happen to Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, these individuals aren't here to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. But, who's to say what happened? But again, once the person is gone, there's nothing else that can really come from it. Yeah. If someone was victimized, I do sympathize with them, absolutely. Yes. But again, with the days in court, we have a judicial system for a reason, especially as an African-American male. If you can beat the judicial system,
it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But I'm not saying that everyone who wins that court case is innocent. But to just, I guess, build off of this, you saw a lot of people impacted by Kobe's death.
Yes.
All around the world. You see it in Dubai, Italy, Philippines. The Philippines. I mean, all around the world.
Yes.
And it's tough because you see this man, right? And he was 18 years old.
Yes.
Went straight to the NBA out of high school. And you see this legend, this giant. He was a giant. And he was, in the eyes of so many, he may have been immortal, right? You see some people always have the good luck, right? You know, they're always winning no matter what. He won 5 championships. You know, he won tons of things, you know, high school, whatever the case is. Has a wife, you know, he has a beautiful family. He's successful after he retires. He gets endorsements, so on and so forth. So you see him always winning.
Yes.
And so for a tragedy to occur, just in an instance, you know, you just mentioned his name as far as being third on the scoring list and then LeBron James passing him.
Yes.
And you're starting to see the good guy, you know, because when Kobe played, he wasn't nice. I love this style.
Yes.
I love this style. It was somewhat similar to Michael Jordan, you know, very abrasive, but gonna get the best out of you, you know. And so whenever Kobe played, you know, he wasn't just a favorite, but everybody respected his game.
Yes.
But to see him humanized after the game, you know, he was no longer the basketball player, he was a father. And you saw him just coaching his daughter every chance that he got and being a family man. And so to have him taken away so quickly, it was a shock. And it reminded, I think, a lot of people that we're not immortal. In addition to the fact that, for me personally, you don't see many good examples of African-American male role models. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact. Mm-hmm. When you look at the media, again, it's a very biased media. Mm-hmm. Tons of reports will show how African-Americans and Latinos now are overly represented as criminals within the American media. Yes. While being compared to European Americans, and these are facts. Yes. So you can look these things up. So to see, you know, an African American male to be shed, you know, so much positive light on, it was very good to see him again just transitioning into that just normal everyday life, having this Mamba Academy, being a mentor to younger girls, younger boys. Yes. I believe he fulfilled over 200 Make-A-Wish requests. The guy, he was incredible. He was incredible. So again, to see such a good role model be taken away overnight, it hurt. You know, you saw the same thing with Nipsey Hussle. Yes. One thing that you can always implement into the African-American story is resiliency and perseverance, being able to overcome the odds. And so even when Kobe faced that horrific accusation, he overcame that, restored his reputation, his legacy, so we thought. Yes. And, you know, you saw the same thing with Nipsey Hussle. You know, he lived his life, he grew up and became a product of his environment, but then he began to evolve beyond his environment, but it still was loyal to his environment at the same time. And so, again, you see these individuals just becoming and growing before our eyes, and then, unfortunately, they're taken away overnight. So, the Kobe Bryant situation is extremely unfortunate. The slander after he's gone, especially the fact that he died with his daughter. Yes. From some reports, I hear that she was in his arms. Yes. And so it's just tough, man. They definitely hit me very hard. Sometimes you just don't know, you know what I mean? I was shedding tears, and I'm like, why do I, care so much? You know what I mean? And of course, you have a lot of people who are opposed to people grieving celebrities. Yes. But again, this man was able to impact so many people. Yes. You saw some military veterans having a problem with him being mourned. But I saw a rebuttal from a veteran. Yes. Which was beautiful. Yeah. Because again, if you're serving to be held a hero, then you're in it for the wrong reason. Exactly. Because also, the nature of military, and you're off the grid. Yeah, right. Really. No one's supposed to know where you are. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to be loud. Things of that nature. Yeah. and I also had another issue with yes, there were other victims. Yes, there were. And no one is being apathetic to them. No. We didn't know them. Period.
We weren't connected to them.
Exactly.
We didn't know them. We just found out their names. A lot of us have just seen their faces for the first time.
100%.
But they'll be so mad that you're showing love to Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
Yes.
We didn't know them.
Exactly.
So by that measure, if that's how we're going to do it, then when everyone dies, you should.
But this is an all lives matter argument.
It is, because it's
completely futile.
Right. It's. I understand other people, and no one is saying, "Oh, I don't care about them."
Yeah.
But we don't know them.
Exactly.
So I don't feel obligated to be like posting about them, and because
you didn't know anything about them. Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know what that man had done in his life.
Exactly.
I see Kobe Bryant. I've seen him inside and out. I know from what we've seen and what he's shared.
Yes.
You know, his imperfections.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw his perfections.
Yeah.
And I respected that.
Absolutely.
And I gravitated to that. And you know, like you said, he was a role model. Like he wasn't much older than us, but he's a role model.
Exactly.
He was the epitome of, you know, this stand-up guy.
Yeah.
He really was.
Hard work, man.
Hard work, man.
Sheesh.
You know, perseverance.
Mama mentality.
Gosh, you know, his teaching, and I really believe he was one of the greatest basketball players to ever touch a court in this world.
Ever.
However, I felt like his impact after the game was going to be much larger.
Absolutely.
He was so poised and so seasoned.
Yeah, he was.
I think he surrounded himself with the right people.
Yeah.
He always, I believe, took the right approach to things. Kobe never did things to be the superstar.
No.
You know, like on the basketball court, they could say, "Oh, well, he was."
He just loved the game.
He loved the game, and he believed in himself.
Yes, he did.
Sorry,
more than anybody.
Exactly, because I can say when we played, a lot of times I didn't believe in my teammates.
100%.
So
because I know how hard I work.
Exactly.
And I know how hard they didn't work.
Exactly.
It's just a fact. Fact of the matter.
I know how much I care. I know how much they didn't care.
Exactly.
You know?
So I didn't count on him to call out crack.
Exactly.
Whenever a receiver was coming to try to knock my head off.
Exactly.
I kept my eye out.
Exactly.
Because I know how hard, again, I study film.
Yeah.
And I knew my plays, and I knew the checks and the calls. So
right, and we know sports, especially even at the professional level.
Oh,
you know, it's your contract.
Bottom line,
you don't sign a team contract.
No, sir.
You know, so you have to produce.
Yes, sir.
You have expectations that you put on yourself, and Kobe was he just completely outworked everybody.
Oh my God,
that was his greatest attribute.
I mean, bottom line.
I saw him in the interview. He was just sitting there, and like he said it just in normal conversation. he was dead serious. He was like, yeah, because you're not gonna outwork me.
Yeah.
I was like,
yes.
He meant every. Yeah. You're not going to outwork me. He was dead serious.
Yeah, he didn't have to put a lot of emphasis on it.
No, he didn't.
Because if you want to challenge that notion, let's get to it.
Yeah, because there's not a person who played with Kobe, coached Kobe, who had the opportunity to, view him, or follow him, closer than we have, like a fanatic.
The writers,
The writers.
Yeah.
This guy he was great.
Oh my God.
He was great, man.
Next level.
He was great, and I just like to see I like to see the good people who step up and defend him in his death.
Yes.
It's just so sad, man. Just this man, because I can show you somebody who people you can't say they've done anything wrong, but they're gonna find something bad to say about him.
Look at Barack Obama.
Come on, man.
He was extremely vilified.
Come on.
Extremely. Bottom line, hold the highest office in the land. Never, not one scandal in his cabinet. Unscathed.
As much as they try to rattle him, death threats, you name it.
Yeah.
You never saw him lose his composure. When it comes to politics, I know it's a team effort. It's not just one person.
Exactly.
This one person kept himself clean.
Oh, and this entire cabinet.
Exactly.
Nobody was accused of foul play or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, I'll never, ever completely agree with what any president does. I mean, because
but I can't say, like
the
I said,
bombings and the wars.
It's a whole team.
Oh, it's a whole team, absolutely. But when you're at the helm, you're certainly going to have to bear much of that, absolutely, because you're the face.
For sure.
So, absolutely. I mean, definitely. It's just like with quote-unquote Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah.
He didn't write that.
He didn't write that.
That's what people don't understand.
Care Act.
Yes, the people who work in the healthcare industry, who are healthcare professionals, who understand health insurance.
I worked in health insurance.
Exactly.
They told us specifically, it is not Obamacare.
It's not.
Like, you just want to, obviously attach his name to it so you can try to
stigmatize
it. Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, and it helped a lot of people.
Yes, it did.
And that's the saddest part. A lot of people who hated him didn't even know that because of the Affordable Health Care Act, they were able to get radiation and chemo treatments and stuff like that. And I've seen interviews, and they're like, oh,
I didn't know that.
Exactly.
It's always the blind leading the blind. You can't trust our media, as far as you can see them.
Oh my goodness. A lot of misdirection.
A lot of misdirection. I just encourage everyone to read and
critical thinking.
Critical thinking. Open your mind, and just realize you don't know everything. And if you're going to open your mouth, just make sure you can support it.
Bottom line,
right? And so obviously, I'm sure everyone's had conversations about Kobe to this point. But another thing I wanted to touch on was the importance of being committed to what you say you want, or what you say you want to do. If you make a commitment, you stick to it, period. You see it through, or otherwise I could, say that you have commitment issues. I don't care if it's a relationship or what. I think it's a character trait that people have. It's always follow through, with whatever you do. I've had business ventures in the past I felt like were great ideas, and I still think they're great ideas, but I shelved them. I got tired. That's my excuse. Everyone has excuses. I got tired, and I stopped driving it. I stopped pushing it. I felt, I let doubt creep into my mind. Many different things that can pop up because life happens. When you're planning your life, it's gonna happen. But it's important to, if you come and you're committed to something, it's important, like I said, to see it through, because there's so many things that you can learn from it, even if it doesn't go the way you plan for it to go.
Absolutely.
And I believe it's about an investment of energy. You can invest all of your energy into this project and then get your return on another project.
True.
It doesn't have to be that specific project. So, but if you commit to a project and you don't put the work in, then I don't know how you can expect to have a return anywhere else.
Exactly.
Because that you were brought to that for some reason, and if you line it up and you get it ready and you go and then you stop, or if you rest, like Kobe say, don't rest in the middle, rest at the end. If you stop, then if you don't get anything out of it or get anything out of your anywhere else, then just don't be surprised.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to get up every day. That's why it's important to read. It's important to work out. You're making investments. That's energy that you're depositing.
Yes.
And once again, like I said, you're going to get a return on it, especially, health-wise, obviously working out. Reading is, people don't understand the importance of reading is when they say reading is fundamental. When you're sitting here and you're looking, you're processing, this information as you're looking at it. You're processing. Your brain's working at that point. Now, you can think, and your brain will be working as well, but this is exercise. Yeah. This is exercise because it takes effort. It doesn't take any effort to lay back and think. You're going to have thoughts all day.
Exactly.
But to consciously open a book and read it, now you're exercising your mind, especially reading material that is maybe, that you can learn something from. I don't care if you read fiction or nonfiction.
Right.
It's important to process those words, and then, at the same time, you start to create different visions in your mind, especially when it comes to fiction, because we can read the same thing, but I'll draw it a different way than you do.
Absolutely.
You know? But yeah, I think it's important to, like I said, just put in the effort and just see things through. I'll always see them through. I don't have regrets, but just some things I just wish I would have kept going on. And I feel like I could have got. Sometimes I felt like I knew more than I did. And if I would have just gotten the experience of it, it would have. It might have, shown something different. But in that, at the same time, I did learn a lot.
There you go.
So it's helped me to where I am now. So, and that's why I say that, because I learned that through those times that I stopped, and now I'm not going to stop. I'm going to push and see this through, and I'm going to get what I want from it. It's when they say the best skill you can have in life is to never quit.
Yes,
that's the best skill you can have. And so if you keep going, you'll always get what you want. And you've seen many cartoon depictions of someone chopping away. In a mine. A pick.
And they give up.
As soon as they give up, on the other side, there's the jewels or the treasure they were looking for. So just like I said, you can make any excuse you want. I'll help you make an excuse if you want, because I had some pretty good excuses. But you got to keep going, man.
That's it.
There's no.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Oh my gosh,
it's going to be tough.
Yeah, especially with school.
Oh man,
it's you have to fall out of love with instant gratification.
Yes.
That's bad for you. When you understand process, when you understand that it takes consistent work, it takes consistent effort to achieve whatever it is that you're looking for, then that's when you find yourself in a great spot. That's when you understand patience, discipline. You understand so many key attributes that are necessary to become successful. And so, like you said, remaining committed to the cause, whatever it may be, again, on the other side, your reward will be awaiting you. As stated, it may not manifest in that actual field that you're working towards, but it can certainly carry over and transfer to other areas of your life. Again, as stated, being a student, it's, oh my gosh, there's a reason why tons of employers require a college education. There's a weeding out process that happens, and don't get me wrong, there's an aspect of classism which is involved, absolutely. Yes. Nonetheless, there is a certain aspect of it where if you come in with a college degree, what an employer is going to see is that you have an ability to commit. Mm-hmm. You started, and then you earned your 120 some odd credit hours to earn this bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. And so the commitment is attractive. It's sexy. It's appealing. It's a turn on for companies, or possible employers. So again, if you want something, you got to remain committed to it. That's the only way that you're going to get it. And understand that your pace may not be someone else's pace. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at what everybody else is getting. No, stop looking at how soon everybody else got something. Start focusing on your path, your walk. I was in the gym a couple days ago, and I'm watching these guys, and it's like a group of 7 dudes come in and smell like straight weed. Mm-hmm. But I'm just sitting back and I'm watching them, and they put some weight on the bar that they know they can't handle, but they see everybody looking at them, and so I see them, but then I also look at a weight bench next to them, and I see these other guys. There's 2 guys, and they have about 95 pounds on the bar, but they're pushing each other. I mean, and they're actually getting work. Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, their muscles are gonna grow, their strength is gonna increase, they're gonna get better. They're not concerned about what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. They know where they are right now, yes, and they know where they're trying to get to. Yes. They understand it's a process, so they're building. Yeah. But I'm looking at the other guys, I wouldn't be surprised not to see them in there too much after this. You know what I mean? So Again, focus on what you have going on. Whatever your path is, whatever your lane is, be patient with it. But you got to work it. You gotta ensure that you can look yourself in the mirror every night and say, I put some work in today towards this goal or this dream that I have.
Yes.
And even if it's a rest day, you put that work in because you understand recovery is important.
Yes.
Bodybuilders sleep a lot. That's their job. Part of their job is making sure they get enough sleep.
Yes.
And making sure they eat enough food and spend so many hours in the gym. That's literally their life. And so if you understand what it takes, then you'll get what you want. And it takes commitment. It takes hard work. It takes rest. It takes understanding and listening to your body as well at the same time. So I totally agree. If you commit to something, finish it.
Yeah. See
it through. Because, again, there's something to be learned.
Yes.
There's going to be something gained from it. That's a fact.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good, how you compare it with the guys that were, trying to lift what they couldn't lift.
Exactly.
And when you do that, obviously you embarrass yourself. But at the same time, you have the potential to hurt yourself.
There you go. Hello. Hello.
So, like you say, if you watching other people and trying to keep up with them when you're not at that level,
then
you're gonna hurt yourself.
You're gonna hurt yourself. You could become your biggest threat.
Yep. Yeah. So you can risk your financial stability. You can risk relationships.
There you go.
Always trying to compete with people that you don't know what their commitment level is, what the work they've put in, or
you don't know where they started.
And you don't know why they might not be even as far as you would expect them to be, but you don't know why they're at that point.
Exactly.
You don't know. You just never know. Like, I might be in there working out with 95 pounds myself, but I got 2 torn rotator cuffs.
There you go.
They wouldn't be able to tell. They'd be like, oh, dang, he's not as strong as I thought he was. They don't know how much I used to lift, right?
I mean, it's amazing. Remember I was in the gym, and, I rarely ever do leg press. I just think leg press is weak. I think you got to squat it out, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, leg press is really for, your ego.
Yeah, it is.
You'd be better off squatting.
Yeah, better off squatting.
Squatting.
Because that's functional. It's a functional movement. And
it engages, many more muscles.
Exactly. It certainly does, especially your core, which is just the meat of what you need to strengthen if you ever want to become strong and sustain it.
Yes.
But I remember I was on the leg press machine and, I'm doing my leg presses, and then the guy walks, he says, hey, man, just give you a tip, you might want to, turn your feet this way or whatever, because, you hurt your knee or whatever. And I just ignored him. I ignored him. I said a couple things, but I ignored him because it's like, listen, man, you don't know my story. You don't understand that I broke my leg.
Yes.
And there's a certain way that I have to position my leg in order for it to be comfortable while I'm working out.
Yes.
So it's like, but certain people don't understand certain cultural values.
Yes.
There's a difference of cultures that are going to mix when you come into a gym or any public space.
Absolutely.
And so he doesn't understand that first of all, I didn't ask for your help.
Yeah.
You don't understand that I used to be a business owner of a gym.
Yes.
That I've worked out my entire life.
Yes.
I know what my body needs. I know what's required. And so just a small detour, don't offer advice where it's not solicited.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
If you see somebody doing something, and they're okay with it, let them do it.
Yeah.
If you come behind them and you do it a different way and they say, hey, man, why do you do it like that? Yeah. Or does that feel better?
Yeah.
Cool. Give them the advice then, go ahead and feed it in, but don't just walk up to somebody and offer your advice if they didn't ask for it.
There you go.
Because in many ways it could be offensive.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
No, you're right. It's sometimes people say, oh, I just want to help, just like the lady who was on that video and talking about religion with that guy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to help you, He like, I just came to get some groceries and go home.
I mean, and she was disturbed.
Yes.
Definitely she was disturbed.
Completely
obviously she certainly had
Yeah.
Clearly out of pocket. I mean, but she clearly had a mental illness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
under some type of, on some type of substance.
Yeah, maybe on like some drugs.
Yeah. I mean, that was.
It was. The contrast was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was. But it's obviously, that's a radical case, but at the same time, it's like, if you can help somebody who needs help, yes, if you see a homeless person and, you can ask them if they want some food, maybe they won't accept it from you. You can't say, here, take this. You can ask them,
I mean, and to go even further, man, when you talk about religion, a lot of people will literally try to force their religious views on people.
Yes.
And they'll tell them, no, you need God, or you need Jesus, or you need Allah, or whomever. And it's so frustrating to see, because it's like, if that person doesn't believe in your belief system, get away.
Yeah.
I mean, because when it's all said and done, you have poor Christians, you have poor Muslims, poor Buddhists, poor whatever, and then you have poor atheists. Okay? You have fortunate atheists, fortunate Christians, fortunate Muslims, fortunate Buddhists. So when it's all said and done, if you believe in that, more power to you. But do not try to force it upon someone else.
Seriously.
Because there's corruption within the Christian church, within the Muslim religion,
Catholicism.
within Buddha, Catholicism, which falls under Christianity. I mean, there's corruption in it all. There's corruption just in the world in general for people who don't believe in those things. So you're not going to help them if they're not ready to receive that. Or if they don't want to receive it purely. Just because you say you're praying for someone, it shouldn't automatically make them feel better. Because everybody isn't praying for your best.
Exactly.
Only you know what's best for you in most situations. And so don't try to force your views upon people, please. It's arbitrary. It's futile.
And it gets annoying.
It's disrespectful ultimately, because you're literally trying to tell somebody that you don't know how to live your life. And you don't know what's best for you, but I can go to my book and I can tell you what's best for you. Please.
There's a lot of books with a lot of great knowledge and wisdom.
Tons.
And so, and by great authors.
Yes.
So, somebody might look at it just like that.
Bottom line.
Especially, like when Kobe passed. I just hope he gave his life to the Lord. I just hope he gave his life to the Lord.
It's like, listen, for your life, cool,
man. Chill out with that.
Yes.
It gets annoying. Like, we grew up in the church, and we were around it, and, obviously still know plenty of religious people. And it's like, whatever you do, just internalize that.
I mean, even in Mormonism, someone can be baptized by proxy for you.
Exactly, right?
And that, which is, Mormonism is considered to be a denomination of Christianity, but that in and of itself, I mean,
come on.
I will never, ever, ever agree, because someone passed away, you didn't feel like their life was right with your Savior and your faith, and so you literally have someone who is related to them get baptized because you believe it's going to allow them into this heaven that you believe in. I think that it's absolutely asinine. That's just my opinion of it. Extremely asinine.
What's the point of living his life?
Bottom line.
Doing right.
What's the point? You could be a terrorist your entire life. And then when it's finally time, even after you pass away, I'm going to get baptized in this person's name so they can get in heaven. And don't get me wrong, it may be comforting to some people. I understand that you want to believe that they went somewhere because you bought into this religious belief and system. But don't do it for people who are adamantly against it.
Exactly.
They're okay with not having that. Again, when you look at different cultures and some people believe that you need to be buried. You have to be buried. Some people believe in you become cremated. But again, in Tibet, the ground is too hard to till. You can't dig this ground. And so what they do with their loved ones when they pass away is they just set them out.
Vultures eat them.
And the vultures come and eat them. And so and they believe, some may believe that they eat them and, they keep their spirit alive,
exactly,
because a living being did so. And so it's just a circle of life, right?
Yes.
So they're consumed by this animal.
Exactly.
When they die, something else will consume them, maybe maggots or whatever, and so whatever. But and I think that one of the biggest problems for Americans is we are literally taught that the world revolves around us. Yep. And we literally don't have to know anything about the rest of the world.
Exactly.
Which is why we condemn people who come here and speak different languages. Yep. If it's from a predominantly black and brown country.
Yes.
It's certainly going to be condemned.
Absolutely.
That's the flat out truth. Because if someone comes here speaking French, oh, it's sexy.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, it's desirable. Oh, I want to hear more.
True story.
You know what I mean? So you hear those things, and even speaking Dutch, speaking German, you're never going to hear those people condemned in this country. Never. You'll never see videos of them being berated and denigrated simply because they're speaking a different language. But if you're speaking Spanish, or if you're speaking maybe even Middle East, some Indian,
Arabic,
Arabic languages, you're gonna feel and hear that condemnation. So it's just, and for people who deny it, it just becomes so annoying because it's that cognitive dissonance. But I just think it's just blatant disregard. You see it and you want to say, no, I don't.
Yes.
And so
make yourself feel better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but in it all, and nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
Nobody's perfect. I think that one of the most beneficial things that we can do as parents and as adults is share our faults with our children and other children so that they can learn from them. Yeah. I tell my kids everything, all of the bad I've ever done, especially my oldest. She's ready to hear it. And so I tell her everything. Literally, I don't hold back any bad things that I've done. And it's so that she can learn from those things. And I believe for me, it's a sign of growth. Because if I admit to you that I've done these things, then I'm saying in a sense that I obviously I want to do better. That those were mistakes. You know what I mean? So I want to be a better example and so on and so forth. So and nobody is perfect. We've all done some things that we weren't proud of. And so, don't cast that stone. Just don't. Like that Christian Bible says, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Nobody's going to be able to pick that stone up and toss it. So, again, save it, please. Yeah. Save it. Work on yourself. Be a better person. Be a better example for the people around you, the people whom you can reach. But leave that judgment to your God or whomever that you believe holds that authority. Yes. Yes, sir.
I agree 100%. And, with that,
it's a great documentary coming out today on this man. I believe it's on Netflix, called "Who Killed Malcolm X."
Okay, yeah.
So check that out because I want to check it out. Hopefully, it's factual. Yeah. I don't buy the stories that the Nation of Islam killed him at all. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, me either. Especially around that time. What's been proven today with other leaders.
Globally.
The conspiracies, yes.
Yeah, globally. I mean, you look at, again, the first president that Ghana ever had, because they transitioned to a democracy, plenty of implications that he was assassinated by the CIA. There's a running list of former African leaders who are implicated to have been assassinated by the U.S. government. So, and these aren't necessarily conspiracies. I don't live over there, so I don't have straight, direct access to this information. I don't know how much it could benefit me even more to know it even more. But I do know, of course, in our country, the leaders, certainly in the African American community, who were assassinated, not just physically, but morally and reputation-wise, who have been, just chopped down. Again, plenty of people made mistakes. Malcolm X, he had a rough upbringing, with his father being murdered and his mother suffering from a nervous breakdown. But he was able to restore himself and become a great leader, a great leader for tons of people, and really for it didn't even matter what skin color that you had, which was very prevalent in the 60s. You know, that was what it was all about. But he even had a lot of European Americans who respected him and followed what he was teaching. So, absolutely.
Cool. Right
so,
on.
yeah, check out that documentary.
Yeah. And with that being said, I don't have anything else to add.
No, sir.
All right. And we will see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye-bye.